Do you believe that it's possible for you to receive a message from a loved one in heaven? Well, keep watching, because I'm going to tell you a story in just a few minutes that I hope will give you something to think about, or at the very least, to file it in your own "you can't make this stuff up" folder. Before we get into the story, though, I want to remind you of 3 simple truths that I have come to understand in my experience with the other side. And by the other side, I mean heaven. So, number 1, signs are the universal language between heaven and earth. I'll talk about that a few more in a minute. Second thing is that you don't have to be anybody special. You don't have to have any special abilities or powers or anything like that to receive a message, or to have some rather extraordinary knowing that your loved ones are with you. And number 3, your loved ones are with you. Heaven is not some very far away place. It's sometimes just a change in your own perception. Case in point. So a year ago today, I had decided that I would finally begin to take some steps to spread some of my sister Ashley's ashes. It was very difficult for me to do that. And you can know a little bit more about our background story if you go to my website at libbaphillips.com or theintuitivenavigator.com, where you will learn about my sister's journey and my journey and my family's journey throughout all the decades that she was missing, and what happened to me during those years that brought me to the work that I do today. But anyway, I had decided when I woke up this time last year, that morning, that I wanted to start to do something. And I wanted it to be someplace very special. And so I began asking, I began praying about it. I began asking, where could I go? What would be meaningful? What would have joy for her? And I continued to get this vision of a sunflower field in my mind. And I thought, okay, well, maybe that's doable, And so I decided that morning that I would head out to a sunflower field that's not very far from where I live. And my daughter decided to come with me. So that entire morning, as we're talking in the car on the drive up there, I am also talking to my sister in my mind, as I often do. And maybe you've done this with a loved one that's on the other side, and you've kind of maybe felt like you were making it up. I can assure you, they can hear you. I'm going to give you proof of that in just a few minutes. So I was getting the impression that not only would this be a great place to do this, but that it would also be very joyful. And I thought, okay, this sounds like something peaceful that I could actually do. We get there to this location, and I'm asking her in my mind, okay, is there like a special place in the near the sunflower field? And what she tells me is, there is something there that I will know when I get to it. There's some location that I will recognize, and that's going to be the good place. I'm thinking, I have no idea what this is. Like, what could this be? I mean, some of these sunflowers are like, 7 feet tall. I'm only 5'2". So, I didn't want to get lost in this labyrinth of field of flowers. So my daughter and I just kind of laughing and joking along, and we go to start walking through this actual maze of flowers. And again, I'm hearing my sister's voice in my mind. I'm actually hearing her laugh about this. Like, you're just not going to believe this. This is so right up your alley. And after a few more minutes, I'm kind of getting hot. I'm getting frustrated. I'm like not knowing if I can find my way out of this place with all these sunflowers everywhere. And all of a sudden I hear, "Look up." And right in front of me is a wooden post with 2 silver metal wings, angel wings. Okay, so I'm going to show you a picture of that at the end of the video, but I just want you to try to visualize this. This is a field of thousands of sunflowers, very, very tall, big green stalks, leaves, the whole bit. It's a sunny day. My daughter and I are there. I've got some of Ashley's ashes with me in a little bag, and I see these angel wings, and I gasp, and then I start crying because she answered me. She told me. She was guiding me the whole time where to go. And then in that moment, my daughter says, "Mommy, look, look, look." And there was this electrical line that, was just going between these two poles on either side of this field. And on the top of that line was a red cardinal who was singing and chirping as loud as he could. What's significant about that to me is that for years, at least for the last 15 or so years, since my granddaddy Bob has passed, he always sends me a red cardinal. And I heard in my mind at that moment, we're all here. Your sister's safe with us. And I knew that my sister was safe on the other side with my grandparents. But in that moment, I really knew. Again, I hope that there's something in this that will help you to also realize, I get it. It maybe sounds kind of crazy, that you can actually receive messages, that you can get signs from the other side. Maybe even it sounds a little woo-woo, but I'm telling you that when you ask, you will get a sign. It's just you have to be open to it and let the universe be creative. Or your loved ones. They know about the things that have meaning for you. You don't necessarily have to go look for them. You don't have to make things fit your narrative. Just allow yourself to be surprised. And just remember, love does not know any distance.